Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Whaley. We have 2 more weeks of remote learning, and we have 3 more ELA books to read to you. So today's ELA book also has your extra credit grammar in it. So let's get started. Today's book is a mixture of poetry and information, and it is called How Do You Raise a Raisin? A raisin? Have you had raisins before? I know I have. So this book is written by Pam Munoz Ryan. She's the author, and it's illustrated by Craig Brown, who did the pictures. So today we are going to learn about raisins. And this author has done other books, so it shows you that an author can write on many different topics. So today we're going to create a timeline. So pay close attention to the details of our text so we know exactly how we develop and get raisins. So here we go. How do you raise a raisin? How do you raise a raisin? Tell me so I'll know. They're such particular little things. How do they sprout and grow? Do raisins grow on Earth or other planets far away? Do aliens collect them and space shuttles them our way? Hmm. Do you know where raisins grow? Do they grow here in the United States? Or do they grow in another country? So raisins are dry grapes. So far, there is no proof that raisins grow on other planets. Raisins are grown on Earth. And like countries like Turkey, Iran, Greece, Australia, and the United States. So, who discovered raisins? Were they here when Earth began? Who was the first to nibble them? Dinosaur or man? Raisins were probably discovered when someone or something tasted grapes that had dried on the vine. Over the years, people and animals figured out which grapes produced the sweetest, yummiest raisins. So, who do you think? Was it dinosaur or was it man who discovered these raisins? Do raisins grow in one place, like Raisin Creek or Raisin Hill? Is there a special town called Raisin Field or Raisinville? Raisins grow best in areas with nice dirt, many days of hot weather, a dry climate, and plenty of water. Almost all of the raisins in the United States are grown in San Juan Valley of California near towns like Chocoli, Duneba, Kingsburg, Salima, Wheat Patch, and even Raisin City. About 90% of raisins sold in the United States come from the area of Fresno, California. So, based on that information, I think that's safe to say that we don't grow raisins here in Delaware. We need somewhere where it's nice and dry. Do farmers plant seeds from the local garden shops and wait for raisin bushes to produce a raisin crop? Take a look at that illustration. What do you think the farmer does? Farmers start a new crop of raisins by taking cuttings from older grapevines. These pieces of stem are planted in sand until they sprout. Then they are planted in the fields next to a wooden stake. Why do you think they need a wooden stake planted next to it? I'm thinking probably to keep the plant growing straight. and not falling over. Notice how the grapevines and the sprawling's branches grow. Does a grapevine tamer train them into picture perfect rows? Do you think they can be tamed? Grapevines are grown about 8 feet apart. Field workers hand tie the sturdy branches or canes to rows of wire. There are usually two sets of wire, a top set that is about 6 feet high and a second wire that is 3 or 4 feet high. Can you imagine having that job? Having to tie all of the grapevines? How long does raisins take to grow? A week, a month, or a year? How many hours must you wait for a raisin to appear? It takes at least 3 years until the vines are old enough for their first crop of raisins. That's 26,280 hours. Shoo! Raisins don't grow very fast, do they? When grapes are ripe and ready, how do farmers get them down? Do they rent a giant to shake them to the ground? I don't think there's many giants out there that could shake them to the ground for us. When the grapes are ready, skilled grape pickers snag the grape clusters from the vines using a sharp vine cutter. Oh, so you have to be skilled. I wonder what kind of skills you would need to be a grape picker. Most grapes are turned into raisins the same way they've been for thousands of years. They are left to dry naturally in the sun. What do raisins lie on while they're basking in the sun? Do they rest on little beach towels until they've dried and done? I don't think so. Do you think you see raisins drying on beach towels? The grape clusters are laid on brown paper trays on the ground between the grapevine rows. This is called laying the grapes down. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Most raisin growers plant their vineyards in east to west rows. This way, grapes drying between the rows receive the most sun. If they were drying in north to south rows, the grapes would be in the shade part of the day. And when it comes to raisins, the more sun, the better. Why do you think the more sun, the better the raisin? How long do clusters lie around to sweeten, dry, and bake? How many weeks in the valley heat does raisin making take? What do you think? 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks, or even longer? Raisins bake in the sun for about 2 to 3 weeks. Then the paper trays are rolled into bundles that look like burritos and are left in the field for a few more days to make sure that all the raisins are as dry. Raisins do not look like grapes. They're withered up and wrinkled. Are they soaked inside a bathtub until their skin is crinkled? As grapes bake in the hot sun, their water evaporates. The more water they lose, the more the grapes shrivel, causing wrinkles. I don't think they put raisins in a bathtub like that. Do you? How many grapes must a farmer dry upon the valley ground to make a box of raisins that weighs about 1 pound? Hmm, how many grapes to get to 1 pound of raisins? It takes about 4.5 pounds of fresh grapes to make 1 pound of raisins. Shoo, that's a lot of grapes to make just 1 pound of raisins. How do the raisins get from field to the raisin factory door? Does a vacuum cleaner suck them up from the dusty valley floor? Farmers toss the raisin bundles into a wooden trailer. The raisins are strode across a shaker that gets rid of the dirt and rocks. Then raisins are taken to the factory and stored in big boxes called bins until they're ready to be packaged. Are you thinking you still want to be someone who grows grapes? Who puts raisins in the boxes that keep them sweet and dried? Do tiny fairy princesses stuff each one inside? Have you ever heard of a raisin fairy? Nope, not me. When they're needed, raisin bins are brought into the factory for packaging. It takes only 10 minutes from the bin to package. Oh, they move super quick, 10 minutes. Workers and machines take off the stems and cap stems, sort and wash the raisins. Then the raisins are packaged in a variety of boxes and bags. So not only do they work hard outside, but the workers also have to work very hard in the factories to get the raisins. What happens to the raisins that aren't the very best? Are they sent to raisin prep school until they pass the test? 1. Get plenty of sun. 2. Roll over after 2 weeks. 3. Dry evenly. What do you think? What do they do with raisins that aren't the very best? When it comes to raisins, nothing is wasted. The stems and the capsules are ground up and used for animal feed. Raisins that are not perfect are made into raisin concentrate that's used as a natural preservative in cakes, breads, and cookies. The best raisins are used for eating, baking, and adding to cereal. Think about what you eat. What do you eat with raisins in it? Oatmeal raisin cookies. What else? Raisins taste so very sweet, but they've considered sugar-free. Is each one dipped in a honey pot by a busy honey bee? Have you ever seen a bee carrying a raisin and dipping it in honey? Is this fiction or nonfiction? Raisins are naturally sweet, meaning we didn't have to add any sugar to them. It's natural. What's so great about raisins anyway? They're nutritious. Raisins are rich in iron, calcium, potassium, and B vitamins and provide a good source of fiber. They make other foods taste better. Raisins are a flavor enhancer. Raisin juice and raisin paste are used in a variety of sauces for pasta and barbecue and steak sauces to boost their flavor. Raisin paste is sometimes used as a filler in meatballs and meat pies. Raisins have rich natural color. Raisin juice is often added to frozen dairy desserts and baked goods to enhance their color or for food coloring. Ground raisins can be used instead of fat-free baked goods like fat-free muffins, cookies, and brownies. Raisin paste and raisin juice concentrate are mold inhibitors that prevent food from spoiling as easy. Bakers often use raisin products instead of artificial preservatives. Have you noticed that raisin bread lasts longer than other breads? Raisins can extend the shelf life of a baked good for several days. Hmm. Did you know that raisins could do all of those things? They're good for your health. They can make food coloring, and they can be a preservative to make things last longer. Interesting. So now you know how raisins grow. Here's a little raisin history. Between 1200 and 900 BC, producers of raisins in Spain, so called because they were made from the muscat grapes with the distinctive musk odor. Interesting. You also made raisins from small seedless grapes in Greece called raisin de Chartres. By the French, they eventually became known as currants. Tangy and tasty. Let's put them in the bread. These dried ones are delicious, and ha ha, I'm the only one who can eat them. About the same time, Americans grew a special seedless grape in Persia, Iraq, Iran, and Turkey. Historians say they were grown specifically for the rulers of the day. Hmm, think about that. We just learned about the past. Are raisins the same in the past? Are they different than the ones that we have now? Look at those illustrations. The Romans started using raisins in trade and dried fruit because they became so valuable that they could be used to purchase just about anything. Do you think you could trade raisins now for something you wanted? The early Greeks and Romans valued raisins so much that they were given as prizes in sporting events. Would you like a raisin for winning? Doctors of ancient Rome and Greece began using raisin to treat all sorts of problems, from joint aches to old age. The ancient general Hannibal fought a war against Rome in the 200s BC, fed raisins to his troops as they crossed the Alps. So you could trade a grape, you could win a grape as a prize, you could use grapes to heal joint aches, or you could even feed your troops grapes. Raisins didn't become popular in Europe until the 11th century, when knights returning home from the Crusades brought raisins back with them from the Mediterranean and Persia. Grapes growing and raising spread to France, Germany, and Spain. And in the 18th century, Spanish monasteries brought grape stock, pieces of grapevines, and the knowledge of grape growing to Mexico and what is now California. So they've traveled from different countries to right here in California. Over the years, raisins flourished, but raisin seeds were a problem. When seeds were removed, the raisins became a sticky, clumpy mess. Bakers and people who like to eat raisins found this troublesome. They hoped for seedless grapes that would produce a yummy raisin. In 1876, William Thompson introduced ADD covered grape to California. The green grapes were seedless, with thin skins, and produced a sweet and flavorful raisin. These grapes changed the raisin producing industry forever and are still known today as Thompson seedless grapes. Have you seen them in the grocery stores? Today, 95% of the California raisin crop is Thompson seedless grapes. When you go to the grocery store next time, see if you can find the raisins and looks to see where they were made from. For centuries, the Hannibal to the astronauts, people have valued raisins. Scientists who planned the space shuttle menus knew that raisins are the perfect fast food for long journeys. They are lightweight, don't spoil easily, satisfy the craving for something sweet, and provide nutrition and energy. So the next time you go on a trip, maybe you should take raisins. They're sweet, they're satisfying, and they go a long way. Now, there's a few different things that you can make with these raisins. Maybe you can try them at home, like ants on a log with celery, or rats on a raft with graham crackers and cream cheese, or super balls will have honey and milk and peanut butter and graham crackers and raisins and cornflakes. So if you're interested in bacon this week, maybe you should try one of these. That concludes our story for how to raise a raisin. Now, I told you to be thinking about a timeline. Where does it start and where does it end to become a raisin? So, here's a timeline. First, they plant the cutting. So remember, they take cuttings from other grapevines and plant them. Then they tie the grapevines to the wires, and they have to wait for 3 years. Pick the grapes, Let them stay out in the sun to dry. Roll the trays into bundles. Put the bundles in a trailer. Drive the raisins through a shaker. Put the raisin in bins. Remove the stems. Remember they're used. Also, sort raisins into perfect and less than perfect. Perfect ones go along for raisins. The less than perfect ones are used in different recipes. Wash the raisins and put them in the boxes. And then, of course, they are shipped to different stores where we pick them up. That was an interesting book. What do you think? Did you ever know the journey of the raisin that you eat? All right, I told you that today's grammar could be turned in for extra credit. So let's take a look and see if we can figure this out together. All right, so my first one is I need to expand. My sentence says it takes 3 years. Well, that's cool, but it takes 3 years for what? It takes 3 years to grow grapes that can, caps lock, can be turned into, I don't think I turned, let's change turned into, that can be dried into raisins. So let me stretch that out for you and let's see if it makes sense. Capital at the beginning, period at the end. It takes 3 years to grow grapes that can be dried into raisins. Awesome. Maybe you want to add something else about the raisins or the 3 years. 3 years before you could pick them. Okay, my next sentence is imitate. Remember, with imitate, we're taking out a word and replacing it. So my sentence says, so who discovered raisins? I'm looking at the word raisins, okay? So if I'm looking at the word raisins and I want to replace it, well, raisins is a noun, it's a thing. And it has an S on the end, which makes it plural, meaning more than one. So what other noun could I use? And what other noun could I make plural? So who discovered, one of my favorite, who discovered ice cream sandwiches with a question mark at the end? So what are you thinking? So who discovered Pokemons? Who discovered swing sets, trampolines, baseball bats? What are you thinking about today? Now, not only do they want me to replace the verb again, they also want me to replace the noun too. So I want to replace the verb and I want to replace the noun. They use the verb discovered. The ed, remembered, makes it in the past. It's already happened. So thinking about a verb. So who looked, who discovered, who looked, who found, who, what do you think? Let's try who looked. Who looked, and what noun could we add? Who looked what? What are you thinking today? Don't forget to fill it in on your packet and to send a picture to your teacher That way, we can give you extra credit for it. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Now, two more sentences here. Expand, another expand, nice and easy for us. So, raisins are naturally sweet. No, they don't have bees that dip them in honey. So, how could we add to make that sentence better? What details? Why are they sweet? So, let's see here. My brain is thinking raisins are naturally sweet due to the amount of sunlight they receive each day. So let me expand that out and make sure we have everything here. Capital at the beginning, period at the end. Raisins are naturally sweet due to the amount of sunlight they receive each day. So I added that the sunlight helps them to be sweet. What are you going to add today? Last one is a combine. So you remember when we look at combining sentences, we're looking to put the two sentences together. So my two sentences, the green grapes were seedless. The green grapes had thin skins. Well, I could put them together using the word and. The green grapes were seedless and the green grapes had thin skins. But think about what we've also talked about. Can we take out some of the repeated words? I think so. I think we could probably take out the green grapes and still use our linking word and. So let's try here. Let's see if we can do it and make our sentences make sense. The green grapes were seedless. Well, what's that linking word? We're connecting them using the word and what? And had thin skins. So let's see if we combined those two sentences. The green grapes were seedless. That takes care of the first sentence. We added the word and to link them together. Had thin skins. The green grapes were seedless and had thin skins. Awesome. So don't forget to put your information onto your packet and share with us. All right. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their week, and we will see you again on Wednesday.